Today, we'll be looking into the lore of Xiao, his backstory, and the inspirations behind his character. So, let's get started. Xiao, from the Chinese demon, previously known as the Yaksha Alatus and heralded as the conqueror of demons, and vigilant Yaksha is an adeptus and the only remaining member of the 5 Yakshas once under Morax's command, sent out to subdue the demonic spirits that plagued Liyue. Though he looks like a young man, he is over 2,000 years old and one of the most respected and revered of all adepti. The anemo vision that Xiao wears is not a regular vision. Similar to Venti and Zhongli wearing false visions, he wears it to keep up appearances. Xiao's power comes from his third or inner eye, which has manifested as a vision, as stated by Zhongyuan from the creative concept and writing department of MiHoYo, so it may not be handed down by Celestia as visions are to humans. His powers in battle seem similar to that of a vision holder, but he also has abilities specific to the adepti, known as adepti arts, such as Dream Trawler, an ability that is able to separate the soul from the body, as we see in his story quest. He was the first character planned by the art and creative concept and writing teams, planned with the title of Mighty and Illuminated Adeptus. The human-like adepti are based on demigod-like immortals, known as Jianren in Taoism, and are referred to by the honorific title Sanyan Wuqian, literally meaning 3 eyes and 5 manifestations, but localized in English as mighty and illuminated. Adepti are not human, but humans and even animals are able to achieve adeptus status, as shown in the description of Taishan Mansion. Once, people who sought to join the adepti must pass the trials of heavens and earth. Taishan Mansion served as the trial of Earth. Now the adepti have long departed from this realm. Taishan Mansion has also turned into a common treasure trove, though the location of the trial of heaven is unknown, and there have been no new adepti that we know of since they retreated from the human world. Before Xiao was given his name by Morax, he was known as Alatus, the name coming from the Latin ala, meaning wing, and his constellation being named Alatus Nemesios, meaning winged nemesis, which the developers have stated is based on the golden-winged great Peng, a bird deity of China, and also the Garuda of various Indian religions. The story of the Garuda is that it was a fearsome predator who ate only evil dragons, until one day the dragon poison he had consumed became too much for him to bear, and he burned to death, leaving only a crystal heart behind, which we can see has some similarities between Xiao's conquering of evil entities that has caused their negative karma to taint his soul and causes him great pain. The crystal heart in the story of the Garuda may also be why Xiao has some interest in crystal flies, as he gives some to us on his birthday, possibly as a hint to the Garuda's story, being an inspiration for his character. As for the golden winged great Peng, he is said to be the spiritual uncle of the Buddha and is one of the 8 demigods of Buddhism. He helps to guard Mount Sumeru from attack by the Asuras, which are generally seen as negative entities due to their opposition to the more benevolent devas, which we can again see as similar to Xiao's story of protecting Liyue from defeating evil gods. It is also stated that his character is based off the Buddhist tales of a malevolent spirit that had been set on the path of righteousness in the 2 archetypal stories of Guardian Yaksha and Numinous Official's Redemption. The convergence and fusion of these real-life folk legends and religious stories were used to create the character as we know him. His attitude is one of a loner, as due to his having to constantly battle and suffer to protect humanity, those that do see him are often fearful, as he is usually engaged in dangerous battles that can harm anyone caught nearby, though even those that witness him out of battle are hesitant to approach him, especially with his silent and brooding attitude. Even the use of his abilities in battle are a representation of his suffering to protect humanity, as he sacrifices his health for damage when using his Bane of all evil ability. He is said to dislike the Lantern Rite Festival, as though the people of Liyue enjoy it, for him it means he has to battle day and night for its entire duration, as the hatred of the defeated gods is the most extreme at this time. During festivals, people offer up incense and pray to the adepti for their protection, but they do not pray to Xiao, for Xiao is no lucky star that promises fame and fortune. He is a demon-hunting Yaksha. After the lantern lights of Liyue have faded, the thankless battle to protect the city goes on unseen. It is an endless battle, and there can be no victor. As the traveler befriends him, we can see that he harbors no hatred for humanity, but he is not used to interacting with people, and is described by Mihoyo as like a caged beast circling the fire of a stove, fearful, but also full of curiosity. Having watched from a distance for so long, he would not know how to join in with the crowd, even if he tried. When we convince him to view the Lantern Rite Festival, Xiao realizes the sentiment behind the released lanterns as a way to remember those who had fought alongside him in the past, and this seems to bring him some level of peace and appreciation for the festival that he did not have before. Morax gave him the name Xiao to protect him, as it is said in some real-world religions and in the book of the Legend of the Shattered Halberd that knowing the real name of a deity or godlike being gave those who knew it complete control over them. Back when Xiao was known as Alatus and was more naive, a god had gotten hold of his weakness, which was likely his true name, and forced Xiao to serve as their bloodhound. He would be forced to perform cruel and violent acts in the name of his master, and many died at his hands. The god also forced Xiao to devour his victims' dreams, even as it pained him to do so. Such was the level of his master's cruelty. During the Archon War, Morax had a fateful encounter with Xiao's master and defeated him soundly, liberating Xiao and giving him the name he is known by today. He said, "In the fables of another world, the name Xiao is that of a spirit who encountered great suffering and hardship. He endured much suffering, as you have. Use this name from now on." Xiao was filled with gratitude for Morax and chose to follow him to shoulder the burden of protecting Liyue for the millennia that followed. Though due to his past service, Xiao's gentleness and innocence was tainted, and all that remained was the means to kill and the weight of his sins. His group of Yaksha fought endlessly against the monsters that spawned from the remains of the defeated gods during the Archon Wars. Though there were many Yaksha at the time, such as Pervases, 5 of them were recognized as the strongest, their names being Bosacius, Indarius, Bonanus, Menogius, and Alatus. The masks the Yaksha wore are inspired by the masks worn in the Nuo opera, performances to drive away demons, diseases, and evil influences. Their strength kept the lands of Liyue safe for eons, but even these strongest among the Yaksha would be consumed by the darkness they faced. Some went mad with fear, others turned on each other or succumbed to the darkness. Of the 5 foremost Yakshas, death came to 3. The 4th vanished without a trace, and the sole survivor left was Xiao, left to defend the lands as the sole remaining Yaksha, ever vigilant, but ever suffering. Ver Godet, the secret agent of the Qixing, who runs the front organization of the Wangshu Inn, is tasked with supporting Xiao, and he stops by every now and then for a bowl of almond tofu, which he clearly loves from the look on his face as he eats it, though it is not the taste that he is after, but the texture that is very similar to that of the dreams he used to devour. Though he is quite capable in battle, and usually finishes them with relative ease, once he faced an opponent so strong that he used up most of his strength, fighting from dusk till dawn, only emerging victorious by a hair. As he was making his way back from the battlefield, the hatred that tainted his body took effect, causing him to fall to the ground in agony. Not a moment later, the pain vanished without warning, due to the beautiful sounds of a flute carried by the wind over the mountains and rivers to where he lay. It continued until the first light of dawn shone down upon his face, protecting Xiao from his wild senses and giving him a moment's peace. It seems as though the Animo Archon Barbatos had lent him a hand, perhaps feeling the kinship of sharing the same element. For Xiao's appearance, the art team have stated that his color scheme of green and white on his upper body is a representation of his animo vision and adeptal status. For his lower half, the darker colors are said to represent the malevolent powers that exist within him. He wears a vajra around his neck and a censer around his waist, as they are ritual items used to fight off evil. The diamond upon his forehead could also be a representation of his third eye, and the tattoo on his arm is an illuminated beast, said to be related to Xiao's true form. So, what can we expect next for our brooding but kind-hearted Yaksha? We see that the Yaksha Basacious is hinted to be the other Yaksha that survived but departed this world, as we see in the quest The Yaksha's Wish, written upon a stone tablet. My name is Basacious, one of the Yakshas. I followed my lord to fight against and contend with the pestilence. Yet though we Yakshas had great might, we were bound by our duties and stained by them. Liyue is now at peace, but of our number, none but Alatus and I remain, and for my part, I wish to depart, to be done with this world. My wealth I leave here, sealed by my arts. If you are fated to do so, take them as you please. Whether or not Basacious will return and be reunited with Xiao is unknown, as at the time of this tablet being written, he seems to have no plans to ever come back, though perhaps the surge in numbers of demonic entities, and even Osile appearing again in Liyue, will convince him to help his suffering friend once more, appearing in his time of need. For now, we'll have to wait and see. And that's the video. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like the video, consider leaving me a like to let me know, and if you're interested in more lore videos like this in the future, subscribing is always greatly appreciated, and clicking the bell will let you know when the next one is up. Let me know if you have any theories or ideas about Xiao, or anything else in the comments, as we've had some great discussions so far. But for now, good luck on your wishes and house building, and I hope you have a great day.